All right, guys. Rodfather and myself are back out here. We're gonna try and get on some fish. We're gonna set up a jaw jacker. We got the hut and everything. We got a bunch of stuff to jig, but we're gonna set one of these up on this ridge. Coming right off this island, as you can see. This is a spot we usually hammer some bass in the summer. It goes from like 2 feet close to that island right there and shoots all the way down, and we're in a little over 13 feet right now. So it has these spikes. I already have this set to my length. I've got it on a 4, but your rod sits right in here. This goes over the hole like so. Okay. And the tricky part, what we're using here, we're just gonna put a minnow dead sticked on this little flasher. So, let's get our minnow on here. And then I'll show you how to set the pole in there. We're just hooking them right through the tail so we can free swim there. Hopefully get us a bass or maybe one of those walleyes we stocked. So I'm gonna let this go down. I'm looking on the Vexilar. I wanna put this, I'm gonna set it at, let's say, like 2.5 feet off the bottom so people can see it around, and that minnow is gonna be swimming straight down, so kind of like venture out at an angle like this, which will be perfect. It takes a little while to get down there. Can they see this? You guys see this right there? There's the minnow going down. I know we've shown you this a lot, so I won't go too in depth. That's the minnow. There's the bottom. And we're gonna go down. So each dot on there is a foot. So right there, that's 2.5 feet off the bottom. So right there, I like it. I'm gonna click this down. Okay, so now I've got my bail shut. I put my pole in here. I have this on the lowest setting because I'm using a pretty light rod. This is one of my little panfish rods. And then if you come up close here, on the tip of the pole, I already have this orange hook which comes with the rod or jaw jacker when you buy it. So I'm putting this down here. I'm hooking this in the hole and I'm pushing it down, and then this piece right here just clips over it and you run your line right there. And then it sets. When the fish comes, he's gonna pull this bite and pull this rod, this line right there. And then it's gonna push this down, which releases that, and the pole and set the hook. I've caught one fish on this when I went to Minnesota, and it was awesome. Since then, we haven't really got to use them. So I'm excited. Hopefully we get on a bass with this, or a walleye. That would be sweet. One thing when you're setting this up, the first time I did it, when the wind was blowing in Minnesota, I did whack myself in the face with the pole about 4 times. So you're really gonna wanna make sure this is set at a good tension for you. So if it's too loose or it keeps blowing down or it's really windy, you're gonna wanna tighten that up. Other than that, that's all there's to it. So far, it's been awesome. Okay guys, we started over there. We had left the jaw jacker while we were searching all along here trying to find our depth. We got a few more holes to check, but we finally hit 20 here, and I believe those next 2 are gonna get deeper right off the dike. And we drop down and look at all those marks. There's the bottom. Those are all fish. There's Jake's jig going down. So, and we got real tiny stuff on today, so it's dropping pretty slow, but we got marks coming in and out on the bottom. When he gets down there, it's gonna be live action. And the marks have disappeared, but don't worry guys, when his jig gets down there, they're gonna come back in. So now his mark's about right. I would stop right there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's his mark. Where'd the fish go? Jake?
You can also have an aqua view. Go down there and actually see what's going on. We don't have one.
It would be nice though.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay, I just left him to go pick that up, and all the marks came back in. They're all over him. Look at all those marks. Those are all fish. That's the bottom with all those fish above it. Are you right in the middle of that mess?
Yep. I like, oh, there's a hit. I like trying to dead stick so you can really feel them. They moved back in. Little jig. all over the place.
It's a feeding frenzy. Is that one coming off the bottom for you? They're all over it. We need them to bite. There we go.
Got a little excited, guys.
Gotta be crappie.
Ooh.
There we go. Nice little crappie.
There you go.
We're on them. All right, we're gonna set the shack up here. Check these couple holes, see if it gets a little deeper, and see if we can't get into some aggressive ones or get them feeding together. There you go. Cool. Now, is this the kind you want?
We got Rod Ripper, AK, and we got Mr. Maybe out here.
Maybe. I don't know.
We didn't know if he was gonna come or not. What you got there, AK?
A little crappie. The screen is lit up. We got a bunch of these down there. Now, Joel, you were talking about pond management, and we might touch on that. Quick question before you don't got to dive into detail. You want me to keep this guy out to help the pond, or you want to put him back?
I don't care. That's your call. Whatever you want.
The problem is, guys, we have a ton of smaller crappie and bluegill. We've done a lot of work, and we've gotten some bigger ones.
Throw him.
But
Keep him.
keep them?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the problem is your crappie compete with your big bass because they have a bigger mouth, so they're eating a lot of the same foods.
Nom, 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 nom.
And we just got a crap ton of them in here. Or Joel does. I like to say we. My pond. But Joel has a ton of smaller crappie and bluegill in here. So we've been trying to dwindle it down so we can get bigger crappie bluegill, bigger bass.
Dwindle. One of those funny words.
It's another one of those funny words. Oh, guys, it's lit up.
Oh, gosh.
Jake, look at this.
Keep it going.
Guys, this is going to be another insta hit. If I just find where my jig's at. As you can see, we put the Vexlar in the middle of 2 holes so that way Jakey Poo and I can both see. Ooh, that's a big mark at the bottom.
Heck yeah, that's Rico.
It could be Rico.
Guys, Rico's here. I knew we'd see him today. He knows my voice. So sometimes if I talk a lot, Rico will just come up. So I wouldn't be surprised if he swims up the hole.
He may. Get a little closer. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's all you can do.
All right, we got crappie suspended. I want that big mark on the bottom, though. We're going to see if they come back.
Nope. I can feel it.
Feel it in my arms. Maybe something a little thicker on these dudes.
Swing and a miss. Stay
Guys,
tuned.
Just a bit outside.
Hook sets are free. Decide if anyone's a genius in the comments, you can say down. I know we need to take out some of the crappie. I don't know about these to get the bass bigger. This looks like a perfect little bass nugget. It's just what we're debating. If we start keeping some of these, the crappie, they're small, but we need to manage it. So we're still gonna fillet them and get a little bit of meat. So if you see some crappies on the ice, but this screen is literally lit up. Like Jake and I have just been slaying them and kind of having fun. And then we're like, oh crap, we should probably be recording this. So if you guys watch this, I bet I get smoked again, and they're right below the hole. I'm going down like 3 to 5 feet. Oop, and I just missed one. Literally, look, that's how far I set the hook. I didn't reel at all. That's all the farther down we are. They're right below the hole. I'm just sitting there. No! Let's see. Oh, he was. Do you...
Okay, guys, we just had a hit on the old jaw jacker. Came over. Alex just missed it, and so we're setting back up.
It was dipping too. We were running up and it was going, and I didn't get over here and rolled the rod up close enough. As you can see, this screen is lit up, but I had this minnow sitting off the bottom. So we're guessing it was either a catfish, bass, walleye had to have hit it, and it was dipping pretty good. And actually, we got marks on it right now. But okay, so setting this up again, you're gonna hook this in there, that pulls down, you flip this up and that holds it, and you put your line right there. So if a fish bites, it pulls the line down and that goes, and your rod sets up like that. But we just stinking had it go off This is what I was waiting for. I was super pumped to catch one. I've caught one fish in Minnesota. Like I said, I haven't caught a fish with this in Iowa yet. And still waiting. But this screen is lit up. If we don't get another set here on a big one, maybe we'll come jig this hole.
Gonna take me a while. Gonna take me a while, bud. Oh shoot, you hit record. We're recording.
Gonna take me a while, bud. Guys, look at this. I mean, lit up. The very top, like we're in 20 foot of water on the dot. So everything you're seeing on the screen is literally fish. And somewhere in that mess are our 2 jigs. So I'm just gonna, oh, I just had one on while I was sitting here holding the phone. Okay, I'm just gonna be recorder for a little bit. There we go. All right, like I was saying, you know, when we said we were gonna do this YouTube thing, I didn't realize one of us was gonna have to be filming and the other one would get a fish. That's the hardest part, is putting the pole down. Is it still lit up like a Christmas tree?
Oh, it's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Like a Christmas tree.
I thought Mr. Maybe was gonna film us today.
Yeah, Joel, classic Stizzy, shows up for 2 seconds, you get excited, and now look at him, he's in his house. He says he's gonna put his boots on and come back out. Whoops, did I miss
might
him?
have just got picked there, AK.
You need another waxy? We are using little jigs just tipped with a wax worm today. We're going simple, classic live bait. Oh, I got one. And you look at that, guys, I just had it sitting there. Oh, he's still there. They are tiny. We got some little, oh, I did lose them. You guys saw it. It was real.
They believe you.
They believe me. All right, I'm actually just going to not film for a sec. Or I mean, not fish for a sec. I'm going to film. Guys, stay with us. I'm still filming. I'm putting the pole down. I'm going to stop being selfish. Jake's filmed me a couple times. It's just, you know, I film for him and he just never catches anything, and then...
It's not true, folks. Give him a little pano of where we're at here. This is about as good as it gets when it comes to Iowa fishing. You gotta look for those good farm ponds. This is a little bit unique, a little bit bigger than some of the farm ponds that you're gonna see from this spring and this summer. Some of them, they're like an acre or smaller. But it's funny because you can catch a 5+ pound largemouth bass in the smallest little farm pond that you've ever seen. So this is pretty nice. How many acres are we talking here, AK?
We're gonna have to get an official from Stizzy, but I believe it's 7.5, 8 acres. You've got a cool island in the middle right there, so a channel goes back, and that goes back into a nice little canal there. Canal, is that the right term? Cove?
Yep.
Goes back into a nice cove. And then there's a little island there. It's hard to see the difference, but that's an island. And then the land behind, there's actually a cove in between there that's pretty big. There's Stizmeisters. But a nice big pond.
Fish you've caught here?
This is where we've caught multiple 6s this past summer. I think we ended up catching like 13 over 4 pounds, with like 3 or 4 being 6 or above. So for an Iowa farm pond, or I guess whatever you want to call it, this is obviously a pretty big pond, but that is awesome. Why Jake is trying to catch a fish and being terrible at it, I'll show you the setup. We got the hut not popped up. The weather's actually pretty nice. We have a Vexlar lit up with, I mean, just more fish than you can shake a stick at, and still Jake for some reason can't seem to catch one. I don't know what's going on.
I'm trying to get past all the small ones to the bottom where you got some of those big bass down there. We have a couple catfish in here. And the funny thing, this is a little unusual for a pond. This is, like we said, a big farm pond, or even like a small lake, like we'd say. There are walleye in here, and so we have walleye we're looking for down there in the bottom. So I'm going past these panfish that Alex has been catching. You know, he's been missing most of them, but going for a walleye, even a catfish, and you know, I'm looking for Rico down there on the bottom.
Looking for Rico. He's trying to get a head start. But we got 3 holes right next to each other. We have one Vexlar for the 2 of us, but if we do this, we can see both our jigs, which when you get them this thick, as long as you can get down there. But this way we can both see what's going on down there with our jigs. Over here, we got a JACKER. This one is just tipped with a waxy. It's a little tungsten jig with a wax worm. You know, maybe something go off. And I better check the tension on that one a little bit, because if it's a little fish like we've been catching, it probably wouldn't set it off. This one I have with a big minnow, like 2 feet off the bottom. That rig I kind of showed you on the first one. We moved it over here. So we got, this is the dike right here. It gets pretty deep. All of these holes are right about 20 to 22 feet with the 2 JACKERs. So we're gonna see We're debating if we set the hut up here, even though we're catching a bunch, or if we move to a spot where we might zero in on some bigger ones. But we do need to do some management and get a bunch of these smaller crappie out. Probably should take some of the bluegill too, but we're undecided.
I just got picked too, folks.
Okay.
Probably Rico, but by the way that he hit, I feel like it was a red-tailed catfish. It takes a long time to get a feel for those types of things, but
especially in Iowa, there's only one we know of.
That's right. They're not native, but by any stretch of the imagination. But we do know that he is here. Pretty sure that he's a male. We don't plan on Rico reproducing, kind of like the walleye. Kind of doubt that they reproduce in here, but you know what? You never know.
Rico could reproduce with some channel catfish down there. There are a bunch of channel catfish and bullheads in here, and maybe we just have some sweet hybrids.
You could have some hybrids, you know.
That'd be cool. All right, are you gonna catch one real quick?
Give me a 30 seconds here. Set the clock, go.
Oop. Okay. That started. Everyone keep track. It's probably different on the film, but on this little clip, that was at 5:06. You got till 5:36, sir.
Oh, it's pretty fishy down there. There he was.
Oh, swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. These are light biters. Gotta get a little bit lower.
And guys, comment down below. Should I bring Taylor back next time and leave the Rodfather at home, or what do we do here?
Well, it just depends on if you want to catch fish or not.
All right, I'm about ready to start fishing. Guys, I might get selfish, and you guys are just gonna have to imagine what's happening.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You got some on there?
Yeah. I got hit like 4 times.
Oh, there's one. There's one. Oh, yeah. There we go. That a baby.
I just want the viewers to see. Oh, look at that.
He hesitated so you guys could see that hook
Beautiful
set.
coloration on the bottom.
These winter bluegill are pretty. These guys are just tiny bluegill.
So you got dorsal side and ventral. So you see ventral side there. Got a little bit. Look at that coloration.
Very cool.
That's very cool.
You guys see how the Rodfather always goes technical. He used to be a science teacher. All right, we're going to get on some more.